Good afternoon. How would you like to hear me explain why you are after Q? First of all, the letter Q in French can also be said as Q, tail, tail end, or ass. So you would be running after your ass. The letter U, the 21st letter, comes in usually with the Q and U together combination, 21 and 17, blackjack. I'll stand on 17. So we stand on 17, and isn't it so funny that 17 and 21 come together? That 17 is actually noted as a letter, the Q letter, has been moved to the number 1 sign on most debit machines here in northeastern part of the world, let's say North America, that I've seen it. So when Q and I come together, let me show you this little thing. Here is the Q, and Q will represent H. It'll also represent A, and it'll also represent F. E is represented in the family F. F is 11. Q comes in with its 17 equals to the 28th cycle of the moon. 2 times 8, 16. 2 plus 8, 10 equals to 26. 26 now includes the Z, which is another 8. And on the number 1 of the bank machine is now Q and H, as it quarters the heaven, corners the heaven, quarter horse the heaven, in short periods, 9 at a time. 1 and 9 are the artificial intelligence. 26 and 17 is 43, or DC. 4 times 3 is 12. Inside of 17, 1 times 7, 1 plus 7 is 7 and 8. 7, because it's between two gateways. It's 3 on one side, 3 on the other side, divided by 1, divided by the Q, the queen, in the heaven. You see the elixir inside of the Q? See the elixir inside of the Q? See these words over here? Q equals H. Q is the 1st and 7th letter, and if you take a look, all it's missing is L. The L letter that I put here is the Q letter. The L says lady. The L is the 12th letter. The 12th letter is the one that's missing inside of U, which is related to Q and U. Why Q and U come together? 3 by 8 is 24. 3 parts, 120 degrees, the Pythagorean triangle. 3, 1, 3 is because I'm between the 7th and the 8th. I'm the 7th gate between two worlds of 8. 6 in the 7th world, and 6 in the 8th world, and 6 in your own world. It always takes the one spirit. It's 1 and 2, which will now create 3. This one will create 3. This will create 5. 3 and 5 are the highest numbers. Once 5 is created, then 3 is created after that. Once 1 is inside 4, have you ever seen the 7, 4, 5, 6, 7? There's 2 on the bottom. Well, once 1 gets inside of 4, it awakens the 2 on the bottom. You awaken the 2 on the bottom. Here's a Roman numeral 5, which is 1, 5, 1, which creates the 7, because the actuality of creating the biggest part, right? E. The reason for E is because 1, 2, 3, 4. Is that correct? Or are we going to measure this way? 1, 2, 3, and this one is 4. 5, 6. There's a total of 6 on this. There's a middle that we did not count over here. Then there's the 2 pieces over here. Then there's the 2 pieces over here. So do we really know our total count and where halfway is in between? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We cannot use these 2 if we're using these 2. You see the bridges, the number 11 over here? See the way the 11 is taken away? Separation from this side, separation from this side. This slid in. Imagine there's an island here and an island here. And down here, there's nothing. So we throw a netting across. And in the netting, we fill it with mud. And now we can cross over. Fill it with mud, or we can build a high mountain on one side and throw it in. And then fill it in so it actually turns itself to clay. So we now walk halfway across the queen, 21. V is the 5th letter. It's also 22. Top right, center, top left. Once you have top right, top left, you automatically have bottom right, because the continuation of the line. So this is automatically 4. This is automatically 1 in between, connecting this one and this one over here. 1, 5 over here connects 1 and 1 on each side. But you see the 7 number? I need Roman numeral 1, 1, 1. I need the first side showing to the right. See the brick wall on the right? And I need the closure of the brick wall, 1 and 1. When I have 3 closures of the brick wall, 8, I have now 2 areas here and 2 areas here. Here I need a weighted balance. The weighted balance over here will take place inside of the underworld. You won't see this over here. You'll just see these two over here, and this is the weighted underworld. Divided between two sides, Roman numerals. Well, you can take this any way you want. I really came on here to explain that 1 times 7, 1 plus 7 is 8, and 7 equals to 15. 1 times 5, 1 plus 5 equals to 6, and 5, 11. To bring this to the 7th gate, I need to add 2. In between 2 is 1, and if I add 2, 1 and 1 is 2. 6 and 5 is 11, 1 and 1 is 2. So again, I get 2 and I get 1. 1 is in between 2. I get 21 inside the 17th letter, created in its own. 38 will create 24. 3 by 8, 24. 3 and 8 is 11, equaling to 35. But before I even go there, 1 times 1, 1 plus 1 is 1 plus 2. Here's your 11. 2 times 4, 2 plus 4 is 6 and 8, 14. 14 plus 3 is 17. 17 is the letter Q. 2 and 1 is the letter U. And inside its own numbers, right from the beginning, it recreates itself. This will create 35, which is electric company connecting Earth to Jupiter. This will create the 15 ball and the 8 ball, moving over from the 7 and 8 to the 15 and 8, because when you play pool, you get the 8 ball with the 15, stripes, and solids. 8 is actually 7, but it's 3, 1, 3 played. How is it 3, 1, 3? It's 5 times 3. 1 inside 5 equals to 11. This becomes 0, 8. 0, 8, all zeros equal 6. 6 and 8 is 14. 14 and 15, the first 4 numbers in pi. 29 is the next 2 numbers in pi, and 6, 5 is the next 2 numbers in pi. This will now create the number 23. 2 times 3, 2 plus 3 is 5 and 6. 5 and 6, 11. Q and U come together. It's going to show you one other thing I wanted to mark, is that when you put these on top of each other, this automatically comes out. But this is the one I really like. We're going to go and do the letter S around the circle here and around the circle here. So we do the letter S around the circle, and I'm going to put a circle over here. So I think that's where the circle goes. So I put it around the circle, and then I automatically go to around this circle, but I don't, because the center of this one is right over here. So if I was going on 2 sides, right? Let's say I did it this way and I was going on 2 sides. What do you think would actually happen on this? Right? We went from building the S on one side, right? You would consider that would be the S, right? To what happens if we build the S on the other side? Just let me sharpen my pencil. Now we're going to do the S on the other side, right? We're going to do the S on the other side. And once we finish that S with the line in the center, always divide the eggs, right? Once you finish that, would you consider that this is now the R letter? And would you consider now this is the R letter? The R letter is consistently made as the 18th letter, which is created by 1 and 8, which is automatically 2 sides coming from the 8 blank spaces of the one spirit. Here's your 8 blank spaces of the one spirit. Here is one part. If we would do this the other way, we would recreate this on the other side. 2 of these, 1 here, 1 here. R, 18. The letter is in the A family in the English alphabet, equals A plus this equals 1 equals to the letter S. It's A-R-E-S. It says arrest. But this already says something else. It means to stop in the east. Why? Because in French, this is east. Arrête in stop without the S is to stop. Why do I bring in the T? Because the T is the H. This T and this 8 are the same. It's the second side of H. How do I know? 2, 5, 8. 2, 5, 8. The minute you've said the 2 the first time, you're already in the H world, but you're in the second part of the H world. 2, 4, 6, 8. 8 is in between the two worlds. 8 is in between the two worlds. To both sides over here. So it's in between the both worlds. The both worlds. I mean, we can also build that tower or those ears. So we have the 20th letter, 0 equals 6, 26, 2 and 6 equals 8. And it's 1, 8 because it's on the other side. So S and T come together, and the number for S and T is 39. The number for R is 18. The difference between this is 21U, R-U-S-T, rust, the rusty old bucket sky. Rabbit kicked the bucket, the rabbit kicked the bucket. You know all this musical stuff we heard in school and on TV? Well, all this stuff is actually telling us a story of things they could not hold back. All that joking around that we see on TV is things we cannot hold back. If you watch and listen to the way psychiatric people talk, you can understand the way people think. We've seen enough of it. They had to teach us everything. It had to be lost in translation. Understanding that because we think we know it all, we end up knowing nothing at all. Everything changes, every thought changes. We share at certain times. Certain things are brought onto TV to make it all look coincidental. When you don't own the house, you don't get to run or understand what's in the house. We never do. Don't ask any questions. Raphael, understanding that when running of the 7 C's, okay, running of the 7 C's. Does anybody know why is it 1 cent, the top part? Is it $1? You see, because if it's 1 cent, right, it's only half. And when you get the other cent, right, you get the whole dollar. So it's either a cent or it's $1. That's a difference of 99 cents. And that represents Jupiter, Pluto. Because Pluto is the carrier of the one piece of the artificial intelligence that brings everything into us. Now, how real, how machine-like is it? Was it refabricated? Is it just our vibration that got changed? I don't know. This is what I'm working on right now. All the numbers that will show me differences. Once I can see all the differences, okay, and all the art and reality, once you can see all the differences, then we'll bring the people who studied science, okay, to have another version of schooling they never got because they never saw this angle before. This is what I do. I read things like this. I play with Mary, the Holy Ghost. Let's throw a number. Oh, look, 8. Let's throw another number. Oh, look, 4. Let's throw another number. 4 again. Look, 3. I'm talking only about the white spot. There's 6 white spots here. There's 5 here. But what's on here? What's the real answer to this? The answer to this is 12. Why is the answer to this? There are 7 white spots and 5 is the polar. The answer to this is 6 because the polar to this black 2 is 4. It's 2 and 4. This is 5 and 7, 57, 75. It's all about B and E, breaking an entry, beta, the number 5, the number 2, the Venus world and Jupiter. Look, Mercury, Venus, 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 inside Jupiter at the heart, the biggest planet of them all. We're about like, imagine this was Earth and this was the universe. Earth would be about here.